welcome to Symfony Fundamentals. The very first thing we're going to do is teach you how to set up a development machine as a virtual box inside of your current computer. This works equally well on Mac or Windows. I've done it on both. All you have to do is watch the video and follow the instructions. So good luck and have fun. For the installation of VirtualBox, there's no real difficult instructions to follow. Just say yes to everything and let her rip. For the next part, we're actually going to be partitioning our disk so that we can have Ubuntu running on a virtual box. So here you're going to click the new. You're going to name your machine. I've named mine Dev. And then in the next part, we're going to assign at least 2 meg of RAM if you can afford 4, but only about half of what you have. Say yes here, and now this is very important. You need to go with fixed amount of memory, otherwise it's going to slow you down. So do as much memory here as you can afford. At least 10 gigs, 20 gigs, 30 gigs, 40 if you can afford it, and you're good to go. On this next part, we're going to be mounting the Ubuntu that we've downloaded into the new partition that we've just created. When you first run VirtualBox, you'll see a screen that looks something like this. You're going to press the start button, and then your next job is to go and find the Ubuntu that you downloaded prior to this part. Select it, click open, and allow VirtualBox to mount Ubuntu into this virtual space. The things you see at the top you don't have to worry about. You can exit out of those, and this process will take a couple of minutes. When it's done, we'll start again. You'll need to pause the video and come back when you're ready. When you get to the screen that asks you to install, you say install, take the one on the right, install from disk. Now it's going to tell you that it's going to overwrite everything, but you're overwriting an empty disk partition, so that's okay. You're not overwriting your original operating system. Please keep that in mind. Now simply step through the wizard, answer all the questions, and when we're done, we'll do some more configuration. Okay, so you press the restart button and you're ready to go. You've probably got something that looks like this, or maybe even smaller, and you've messed with everything, and you go to full screen and it's still the same size. That's the first thing that we're going to fix. But before we do that, what I want you to do is I want you to get used to exiting your VirtualBox and getting back into it. So what I'm just going to do is I'm going to X out of that, if you will. It works the same in Windows as it does in Mac, and we're going to actually send the shutdown signal. I'm sorry, we're going to actually power off the machine. So we'll power off the machine, and that is that. So anytime you want to work in your development environment, all you have to do is go to the VirtualBox itself, choose the server that you've just set up, and then click the Start button. Now, as we said before, we needed to fix a couple of things. This screen is just not going to work for us. First of all, let's get rid of this stuff up here. This is just telling us some information, and that's quite good. Now, this doesn't work for us because this is just much too small. We want it to take up the full screen. So what we're going to do is we're going to change that by going up here in the VirtualBox itself, and we're going to click on Devices. Down at the bottom, go to Insert Guest Edition CD Image. You'll notice that when we did that, first of all, you see something here that says Host D. Now, what that means is host, you have exactly one key that you can use for shortcuts in the top level machine. In my case, it's a Mac, and that key is the right control key. The left control key will be used for operating shortcuts and what have you in the virtual machine. Okay, so that being said, here we are, contains software intended to be automatically started. Would you like to run it? And say run. And we're going to give us the password that we supplied earlier. Authenticate, and it will redo everything, and you should have a full screen. We're going to shut down the virtual machine and restart. It will give us something here, and all I'm going to do here is I'm going to say send the shutdown signal, because then that will come up with a box here and we can say restart. So it will restart and it will end up coming in a full screen, or at least it should. Again, we don't need these messages. And there we go. Now there's one more thing that we can do just to give us a little more room. And if you click up here on the, let's see where it is, on View, you can switch to full screen and say switch. And now your top bar will go away, and instead we have a bar down here. Now we have a full screen, and if we want to get back to the virtual machine, we can go down in here. But we also, if we really want, can, if for instance if you're on a Mac, get down to our taskbar here. Okay, we've got a few more things to do. We're going to start loading some software that we need. If you need to take a break, now's the time to do it.